everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you the beginner's guide to sewing a shirt. So the pattern that I'm using is Easy Stitch Patterns. It's called Men's Basic Shirt and the code is P015. For this tutorial, you can basically use any pattern that you have lying in your stash or a pattern that you have found at your local sewing store. But the implementation of these patterns is basically similar if not the same, but I do suggest that you read through your pattern first and make sure that there are no big differences between the way I sew my shirt and the way that you will be sewing your shirt. So let's begin. I have all my pattern pieces already cut out. The pieces that need interfacing have already been done with fusible interfacing. So step one would be taking both your front panels and just where the buttonholes and the buttons are, you're going to fold a double fold. You can also add interfacing if you require or if you feel that your fabric isn't sturdy enough, just to add more support for your buttonholes and make sure that nothing unravels. So I have done this for both pieces, and just make sure that the fold is going inside so that when you match them together like this, there are actually no seams showing. Once you do this, you're going to head over to your sewing machine and you're going to do a straight stitch on either side of each fold. So basically there'll be 2 stitches going down on this side and 2 stitches going down on this side. Don't forget to do a back stitch at the beginning and the end of each row of stitches. Today I will be using my Singer heavy duty sewing machine. So I already have it all folded and ironed, so all that's left to do is to sew a straight stitch. I'm going to put my dial length between 2 and 3 using a straight stitch. I have my yoke. There should be 2 yokes, but I have mine with the right side facing down. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my back panel and I'm going to place it at the top. So what you will notice when you place it on the top is that the back panel is actually bigger than the yoke. So in order for us to match it, we're going to actually have to put in a pleat. So you basically mark in the halfway mark. Your pattern should also come with a few helpful markings for you to achieve this. So I'm just going to fold in on this side and I'm going to fold in on this side. Just so that I can get a pleat that looks like this. And this is how the inside part is going to look. So make sure that the part that is in the back has the actual square, and this part that's on the outside has the little fold in. So this is quite like tricky to match up, but if you're just careful then you can get it in perfectly. Okay, next what you're going to do is you're going to take the other yoke and with the right side facing down, you're going to sandwich it on top. I always like to pin in the pleat first just to make sure that there's not a lot of movement going around as I get the other parts to match. So I'm just going to put in 2 of my wonder clips. You can use your pin if that's what you use. Okay, so I have these nice and secure in. So I'm just going to carry on putting clips along the edge, and then it will be ready to sew with a straight stitch, following your seam allowance, having all those 3 pieces tightly together. This is how the back of your shirt should be looking now. As you can see, here is your pleat, and here is the yoke where it attaches to the back panel. So now, just to give it a little bit of security and also for it to look nice, I'm going to do a top stitch going just a little bit above this line. So that will just hold it all nicely in place and just give it a good finish. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the yoke. So as you can see, this is the yoke with my back panel attached, and now I'm going to be attaching my 2 front panels. But the first thing that I am going to need to do before that is basically open up these yokes so that you can see both, and I'm just going to fold in a centimeter, and I'm going to iron a centimeter here and iron, and I'm going to do it for both sides, and then we're going to attach the front panel. I have ironed it in already, as you can see, so that there are no raw seams showing on the end. Now it is time to bring back your front panels, and you're going to insert it with the right side facing up, and the buttonholes obviously will be facing each other. So you basically open up where your yoke is, match it in, close this up, and now as you can see, I have swapped my wonder clips for pins because this is one of the times where you do need a pin, and I'm just going to pin this together to make sure that it is all secure for when I am ready to sew. Okay, once you have it pinned, I'm going to actually sew once as close to this edge as possible, and then I'm going to do another stitch on the end just so it has extra security as well as it looks better. Okay, I'm going to do that for both sides now. Now it is time for us to begin the collar. Do not let this part scare you as it scared me when I started, because once you get going, it's actually quite easy. So basically, I have interface with fusible interfacing one side of the collar. This is the top part of the collar, and this is the collar stand, but for now we're just looking at the collar. Then I'm going to put the other piece of the collar on top, so right side's facing. Make sure it's matching. I'm going to just pin and sew along here. So it's from this end all the way here to the end. Clip off the side so that when you fold it and turn it right sides out, that it looks all clean and nice. So I'm going to do that quickly, and then I will show you the next step. I have gone ahead and given my collar a top stitch. Next I'm going to take the collar stand with the right side facing up, and I am going to basically match the shorter side. Should be the part that's going to be sewn on here. So I'm matching the middle parts of my collar stand right side facing up, and then I'm going to take the other part of my collar stand and I'm going to also match it in the middle. Next I'm going to get my wonder clips, and starting at the middle, I'm just going to clip it on making sure that they're all sandwiched together, and I'm going to match them all along the edge. Then I'm going to sew from here all the way around, ending here with a straight stitch. This is the only raw edge that should be left on your collar, so to get rid of that, all I'm going to do is just fold in 1 centimeter all the way around and iron it down, and then I'm going to set my collar aside for the next step. So basically I have taken the plackets, and what I've done is I have folded in all the edges so that no raw sides are showing. So as you can see, it's all just folded in. So next, in this place where it's cut, I'm going to put the side that has no points. I'm just going to push it in through here, and the side here that has the points is going to go onto the longer side. This base here that's longer. And then I'm just going to sew along the edges for each sleeve. Okay, it is now time for me to attach my collar on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by just marking the halfway point. So I have my tailor's pin, and I'm just going to put a little line across at the middle. Okay, the next thing to do is take my actual collar that we've already made, and I'm also going to find the midway point on that. Okay, so once you do that, you're basically going to open up where you made that little sandwich and just begin to put the ends of the collar at the tip of where your shirt is. So basically just gonna match it in, and you're going to pin as you go. We are now ready to attach our sleeves to the main garment. So the important thing to take note of is the section over here where there's a smaller space. This part needs to be facing the back. So what I mean is the back panel. So when you're attaching it, you measure halfway to the top of your sleeve, as well as you measure halfway there, and then you're going to fold it over right sides together, and then just pin all along that way, making sure that you start at the center and go out, because you might have a little bit of excess, which is not a bad thing, because at the end you can just cut it off. basically has space for the sleeve to slot in, but the sleeve is bigger than the cuff. Therefore, the size of the placket that has the triangle on the top will need just a little pleat at the fold, and that pleat will obviously be just big enough so that your cuff does fit into your sleeve. Okay, so the shirt is all done. As you can see, I added in the buttons and the buttonholes as well as hemmed the bottom, and that would have been your last step for having your shirt done. I would like to also mention, when I added in my buttonholes and my buttons for the cuffs, I put the buttonhole on the side where the placket had a triangular top, so that was the place that had more space between the cuts. So I did that on both sides, and my buttonholes are on the left hand side of the shirt and the buttons are on the right side of the shirt. If you do end up making this shirt, please tag me on Instagram at taran.anthony.3 or on Facebook, and I can't wait to see your shirts that you have made. Thank you for watching.